Okay, today I'm going to go over my top 3 essential fishing knots that I use most of the time while I'm out fishing. First, I'm going to start with a terminal knot. Terminal knots are a very essential part of fishing, and we use these to tie hooks on, we use these to tie lures on, to swivels, to weights. And the reason I like this knot is called the Diego Jamb knot, is that it performs very well with braid, monofilament, and fluorocarbon. I've never had any issues with those 3 different line types. You do need to wet the knot a little bit if you're running fluorocarbon or monofilament, that way you don't burn it. But we're going to get started here. So here's my hook, tying in through the hook eye. I'm going to give myself quite a bit of extra line here just because this is such a fat line. First, I'm going to make a cross. I'm going to run the 2 lines parallel like that. I'm going to cross over, and then I'm going to wrap this line around the other 5 to 7 times. If it's a really thin diameter line, I'm going to do 7 wraps. With this one, I'm just going to do 5. So there's the 5 wraps, and you noticed I held onto that loop right down there. Now on the 6th wrap, I'm going to come back through that loop I've created here, and then I'm going to come back up through this loop here, and then I'm going to pull down tight. It's harder with this line because it's not designed to slip as much, and there we go. Now, of course, it'll look a lot smaller and more compact if you're running braid or monofilament and thin diameter here, but that is the Diego Jamb. Not going to slip. I'll trim off a little bit of that excess line there, and that's it. Diego Jamb. Okay, the second knot I want to cover today is a loop knot. Now, loop knots are really handy, especially if you like trolling for salmon, kokanee, or rainbow trout, because on the back side of a lot of the dodgers and lake trolls and things that we use, they have little clips. So you can just make a loop knot in your leader and have your pre-tied leaders ready to go and just clip them in or out. So this is called a surgeon's loop. It's very, very easy to do. So take your line, make a loop in the end of it. You have to decide how big you want your loop to be, so make sure you pick that correctly. Run the line parallel, make that loop, and then it's just really 2 overhand knots. First overhand knot, and then you run it back through with that on the second time, and then you pull that tight, and now you have a loop. And this is a very strong knot. It doesn't slip or anything. That will hold and makes it really easy to clip in and out of your dodgers, your leaders, and things like that. This also has really nice applications in fly fishing as well. Okay, this third and final knot is a line-to-line connection knot, and it's probably one of the most important knots that I use. That being because I primarily fish a lot of braid, which means I'm attaching monofilament and fluorocarbon leaders to my braid, since I do like the stealthiness of those types of lines rather than just straight braid down to the hook or lure. What's nice about this knot is it's very slim profile, so you can reel it up through the guides, and it also is very, very strong. So what you do, you can take your 2 lines, doesn't matter what they are, braid to monofilament, braid to fluorocarbon, monofilament, fluorocarbon. Run them parallel to each other for 8 to 10 inches. And then what you do is you make a loop in one of them like this, and you bring it across. Okay, and then you're going to do 3 to 5 wraps. You can do 7 if it's a very fine line. And then you're going to tighten all that down. Okay. And then you're going to come to the other side, and you're going to essentially do the same thing with the other line. Create a loop like this. It's a little bit more memory in this line. You're going to wrap that around a few times. Like I said, you can do at least 5 wraps. With thicker lines, you can do 3. With really, really fine lines, you want to do at least 7. And then basically what you have is 2 slip knots. You can pull them down and then pull them against each other. And then you just trim off your excess very tightly to those 2. And these 2 lines slip and pull against each other. It creates a very, very fine knot, as you can see. So you take away those tag ends and there's not much of a knot there. So that works really good for tying 2 lines together. All right, what are your favorite knots that you like to use? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.